I'm Heather Lang-Cassera, Clark County, Nevada's Poet Laureate, and I am so excited to be here today with a wonderful local poet, Liz Galvez. In addition to writing poetry, she is the president of the Blue Sage Writers Guild. That's Nevada State College's creative writing club. She's also an editor with 300 Days of Sun and just a really, really awesome writer. Liz, thank you so much for being here today.
It's good to be here. New year, it's fresh out here and it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year. And I love that you've brought us out here to the Clark County wetlands. It's so gorgeous. It's so peaceful. I feel like everyone who lives in our community who hasn't been here yet, they should totally come visit. A great place to write poetry, of course.
Definitely, yeah. It's also the perfect place to just get lost and then find out where you end up.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree. So I've also recently had the pleasure of hosting you at a really unexpected place for poetry, the gallery at Sunset the Mall. That was thanks to Eat More Art Vegas and also the Las Vegas Writers Guild. So we got to read poetry on a stage in the mall. It was super fun. You were amazing.
Thank you.
So I know that it's important to you to find art and poetry in unexpected places and also to take it to unexpected places. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's more or less just making sure that we focus less on being task-oriented and more being in the moment. Because when you go through life, you're kind of just focused on one thing at a time. Like, this is what I need to do today, this is what I'm doing tomorrow, this is what needs to be done next week, 6 months from now, etc. And then often, when you see a piece of art or music or poetry that strikes you, you're kind of like shaken from like your autopilot daydream, and you begin to live, and you take a deep breath and say, I exist. And it's important because when you get lost, you kind of just lose yourself and you kind of just become like a puppet.
Yeah.
Not a person.
That's really, really smart. I'm thinking about my morning and kind of like going down my task list and even like writing poetry. I have like a little box. And like, honestly, when I try to force it, it doesn't always work. So that's really wise, Liz. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
So today I know you're going to read a poem for us. I'm very excited about it. Could you tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind it or how it came to be?
Sure. My godfather Sergio passed away a couple years ago. It's, people, when they leave us, they have to go and they have to go home. And that's the way it is. He was father to 2 young girls who he spoiled very, very much. And those 2 young girls kind of adopted me as a big sister. Aww. So whenever I was in California, it was like if the girls were being kind of antsy or like just, generally skittish, he would just take them out and I would just come with. And one of those places happened to be a park. Could have been in a church or could have been a community park that it just existed, and there was statues of saints and people there. Everything was kind of coated in green, and there were like marble pillars too. So it was a striking memory, most of all because I had no idea where I was, but it was just a beautiful place, surrounded, by family in California. And I recently just remembered that place coming back for Thanksgiving break there. And it was something that was lost in my memory and then just kind of reawoken.
Wow.
And it was just something enhanced by memory, but also damaged by it.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Right, memory is a tricky thing.
Yeah,
a beautiful but tricky thing.
Right. So it's almost just like interweaving the place with the person and the memory.
Yeah.
And discussing that.
That sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and thank you so much for bringing the poem. Would you read it for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Liz.
Thank you, Heather. This is a place interred in memory. Garden of aromatic verdant, jasmine, juniper, sage, maybe rosemary. This place exists, had existed, never existed, among busts of idols, the saints, martyrs, scoundrels and renegades, blind, perhaps, among burgeoning brush that may still, half still, or never have been. For all one knows, it exists next door or on another plane, discovered only through losing your way or being open to possibility. Maybe it never existed, had existed, dissipated, or now fading away. Remaining or had remained, undetermined fate, floating in uncertainty. What remains is the thought, framed in the untraceable, a vagrant terrace floating in liminal space, to be rediscovered, conceivably, in recalling the fragrant flowers framing pallid statues in a place interred in memory.
Liz, that was gorgeous. Thank you
you
so much for reading that for us.
Thank you.
I really got that feeling of that mixture of memory. It's sort of like ethereal, but it's also concrete. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather.